over the country. In every protest, this man is at the forefront. You might not want me to tell you, but this man is 73 years old. He's running around like a teenager. He's been arrested. He tirelessly works for the people. I'd like you to welcome Piers Corbyn!
I want to take it off as well. Well, that is fantastic. Are you in good voice? Wow. And I want to tell you, I've got to speak loudly because people are overflowing beyond this edge of the square. And there's people in Hyde Park waiting for us. There's thousands waiting in Hyde Park. What this means is we've probably reached 100,000 people in London today. That is. So Boris, we're on our way to get you. Now, across the country since I was last here, I've had 2 arrests and been to 10 local rallies, and I just want to say on this, we, the movement, our movement, defends to the end anybody arrested or victimised under the COVID laws, including health workers. And I want to thank the valiant people of Sheffield who resisted twice to prevent me getting arrested. The 3rd time the police came in numbers and horses and I was arrested. And what they did, they imposed the bail conditions that I wasn't allowed to demonstrate at any of these events anywhere in the United Kingdom until November. However, I turned up in Cardiff 3 days later and nothing happened. And then the Crown Prosecution Service phoned my solicitor, who's up here somewhere if I can see him, on the chair. Richard, where is he? There he is! 3 cheers for Richard Barry, my solicitor. Yay! They phoned him up when he was on the train on the way to Sheffield to lift my bail conditions and said, don't worry, you don't need to come, we lifted them now. There's no more conditions against Mr Corbyn doing anything. But it wasn't that we persuaded them, they listened to our numbers. And every time they attack us, we hit back twice. That's how we're going to win. And recently, a Good Morning Britain poll, you better hiss at that, this is Piers Morgan, my opposite number. They had a poll that said 70% of the population oppose a second lockdown. Yet Boris comes up with more measures. We've got new measures to stay at home till before 10 p.m, after 10 p.m, because the virus bites you harder after 10 o'clock. And also, we've got a lot of road closures, have you noticed them? Because the virus obeys one-way streets. So be careful where you go, you might meet one coming the other way. And we have Sadiq Khan, the Mayor of London, who would not even answer a request to allow us to be here. But, Sadiq, we are here! Now, what he wanted for London, he wants a full lockdown. Even though the illness rate in London is half that on the aeroplanes which are allowed to go to and from other countries, where the risk rate is 20, and in Westminster it's only 11. So he's really trying to close down the whole business of London. It makes no sense. And I think the key thing we got to say to the people of Britain is there's no justification in any terms for the lockdowns and the COVID rules. They are a complete hoax. We know that lockdowns do not work. They did better in Sweden without a lockdown. We know that masking is mad. It's like asking a fly to not fly through a fence. It's stupid. And we know that distancing is daft. You didn't know I could make things wrong, did you? Distancing is daft because actually you need to get close to people and hug them and all that to improve your immune system and feel happy. So I'm going to ask you now, and I've got to do it under COVID rules, you've got to do this only within your family group that's here. But you've got to hug against the COVID con now in your family group. Do it now. I see a lot of hugging going on, yes, yes. Yes, I've got another member of my family and social group here. So that's what you have to do. Your family and social group. Okay. Are you feeling happier now? Well, there you are. It's proof it works, right? And when it comes to tracking and other other measures, the only purpose of tracking is to up the numbers in the false positive nonsense tests. So do not track under any circumstances whatsoever. The whole thing is a psychological operation set up, monitored by the Behavioural Insight team, and I would say the anti-COVID measures are not to control COVID, they are to control you! Now, we're often asked, is there actually a deadly virus? And if there isn't, how are people getting ill and dying? Well, one, they make up the numbers and they tell us lies. So my answer to that one is, take down the BBC! 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 Okay. That's a non-stop quote, isn't it? Well, we are going to visit the BBC on the way to Hyde Park after this. I don't think there's enough space there, but anyway, that's the general idea. Right, the other thing is, what people are getting ill of is can be a flu. There has been a flu around, which, you know, people get. And the other thing is increased Wi-Fi and 5G and 4G. It's a proven fact, and this is World 5G Awareness Day today, by the way. It's a proven fact that 5G and 4G and 3G does lower your immune systems. So when they turn it up, you will get ill, or some of you will, and that will be used to increase the so-called COVID numbers. So we say, take down 5G! Down 5G! Take down 5G! Take down 5G! Okay, and when we asked Boris Johnson and Bill Gates of hell for evidence under proper, respected scientific test that this dangerous virus exists, they could not reply. Now, don't you think if they had evidence they would show it to us? Exactly. So our conclusion is that it's a hoax. Again, it's a hoax. It's a hoax. And they also claim that they found the virus, even though they haven't seen it, and even though the World Health Organization said not to look for it. And then they say they've even got a vaccine for it. A vaccine for something they can't see, or no one can see. They say, under some rules, they say, well, they've seen a genome sequence in a dish, and that could be the virus. Now that argument is bananas, and here's a banana. So I'm not going to go into the details of that, but that is the point. It is not an honest scientific method. They are just conning you. Ignore them. And their purpose is to make billions. And they want to impose an experimental vaccine on you, which gives no liability to the manufacturers whatsoever. This is evil, evil, evil. And we say, because it's only to make money and control us, we say, stop all vax programs now. And when we say these things, when we speak these truths, we're often told we're conspiracy theorists. I will say a conspiracy theory, that accusation, is the primal scream of liars. The primal scream of liars. And we know as a fact that yesterday's conspiracy theory is today's truth. And when it comes to this psyop, this world psyop now, I will say that never in the history of the world has such a great hoax been foisted on so many in the interest of so few. And that's a quote I think that Boris ought to learn. Gates, Zuckerberg and Bezos, their value in the last few months has increased by £150 billion, which is 20 quid for every man, woman and child in the world. And their aim, what is it about? Well, Sandy has told you, it's to build an evil technocracy. Boris isn't doing it for nothing, and he's not doing it for you, he's doing it against you. Now then, what is to be done? We've got to have a massive campaign of explanation so the public can make MPs accountable, or the system is going to be faced now with a choice. Either it becomes accountable or it will fall and we will knock it over. As we speak, most members of Parliament are fools clamouring for an experimental vaccination for something which is just a hoax. We must stop them. We must resist contagion fear, which is the root of their propaganda. We have to now think in your village, in your town, in your city. We've got to set up our movement action groups. And those action groups will resist all the COVID impositions. And they will support all those victimised and made jobless and lost wages by the COVID con. We have to hit back against any of their attacks. One hit, two hits back. We've got to also build an alternative media, which is not just take down the BBC, it's build your own medias in your villages, in your towns and nationally. Give every you can to help build an alternative media to defeat these liars. And I have here a little book from George Orwell called 1984. If you haven't read it, read it. George Orwell said, it's sold out, is it? Yes, many times. In a society based on lies, speaking the truth is a revolutionary act. So to end, we know it's our movement that saves lives. Boris's games are losing lives and it's causing illness. So a few chants. Start off with no more lockdowns, save lives. No more lockdowns. save lives. No more lockdowns, save lives. No more lockdowns, save lives. It's carrying on, isn't it? It's amazing. Oh, yeah. Sat them going and they just go. Right, next one. End masks and tracks, save lives. 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 And end all COVID vax, save lives. You're not getting bored, are you? End all COVID vax, save lives. End all COVID vax, save lives. End all COVID vax, save lives. And the almost last one, obviously, take down 5G, save lives. So, take down 5G, save lives. Take down 5G, save lives. Take down 5G, save lives. And the end, as George Orwell said, there is a choice before us between tyranny and freedom, and we choose freedom! Freedom, 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 freedom. Let's hear it for Piers Corbyn! So I don't want to be a man who gets on anyone's nerves.